Alright, I can't contain myself. As both a healer enthusiast, as many of you might know, but also a Lissa enthusiast, I have to release this video probably before a lot of the other stuff. Before the weapon refines, before the should you pull, before the Crom analysis, before anything like that. This video deserves to be done first. Let's go.
Let the lesson begin.
What's up guys, Akariss here, bringing you another Fire Emblem Heroes video today, and it has to be this one, because Lissa is awesome, and so are healers, and as a result of that, this video exists. Now this is probably not going to be useful to most of you, I think, because I'm probably in the minority here when I say that I really like healers and supports in most games, but I have to do my due diligence and provide you guys with the analysis on Lissa, who's our upcoming Tempest Trials unit. Now, I don't have to speculate here, thankfully, because as you can see in a little bit of a tease, you can see the stat spread and the skill set that she came with, although that is revealed now, but her stat spread is given to us right there, and therefore I can give you guys definitive builds and ideas in which to best use Lissa, and that's what this video is going to be about. Thankfully, as an armored healer, I do feel she has a little bit of places you can use her, and I'm going to touch on that uniqueness throughout this video. Before we do though, as I always ask in the beginning of these videos, is for you guys to smash the like button and show me that you like healers as much as I do. Seriously. And if you don't, then I'm just going to be pretty sad. Additionally, if you haven't subbed already, then please do that. And if you want to support this content, consider the Patreon description below, at least check that out. Or maybe even the join button on YouTube as a way to say thanks and to show that you guys do want to still see me around. Alright guys, let's jump into this. So, Lissa's stat spread is very bulky in nature, does benefit from recent release high stat totals, and as you can see there, 37 defense and 40 res is quite a bit. Quite a bit indeed. 35 base attack, not including the staff, and a really low speed stat. It's honestly like Lissa in an armor form, besides her winter form, as a healer and updated to modern stats. It's actually pretty good, and I'll explain why as we jump into some builds and some ideas here. So first up is just talking over her stats, her fodder, and carry potential that I feel she can have. This isn't the ultimate idea, but effectively as a unit who has dumped her speed a little bit and focused on the defense and res aspect, plus a decent attack stat and a decent HP stat, she is encouraged as a sort of like Henriette-esque role where you're going to want to just really maximize that bulk and take 0 damage. She comes with a brand new staff in the form of, I believe, Staff of Tribute, which isn't too great. It's okay. It gives her 6 defense and res, and then it has like a Breath of Life effect after combat. So to herself and allies around her within 2 spaces. I think that's okay, however I don't think it's ideal. I actually think Palm Staff is better than this weapon because Palm Staff not only bumps up her speed a little bit more, but a Daunt effect where you reduce enemy attack is generally better than bulking up further. The reason that reducing attack is actually better than bulking up your defense and res, at least in Combat 1, is because if you lower enemy attack stats, they get worse scaling off of stuff like Raven and effective weapons. That's why you want to prefer something like Palm Staff. Now, the beauty of healers is that they have so much access to different type of strategies, builds, well, for the most part, not always with builds, like they can't run stance 4 apparently, they don't have access to a couple fighter skills like Hardy Fighter, for example, and they are limited, but they are also very unique in what they can bring to your team, and that's what I'm going to discuss throughout the video. So her fodder is kind of whatever. I guess defense res ideal 3 chains into defense res ideal 4, but maybe you want to hold on to that before considering foddering her. And the first thing I'll show here as a build is actually a potential carry build that you can do on air offense, which includes Absorb. Now this is funny because Absorb is pretty much the most like the best way of getting in combat healing before everyone else was doing it with small healing, but Absorb directly scales off of half of your attack stat, which means with the right support, and in this case just bumping up her attack stat, getting support units that debuff enemy res and then bump up her own attack, and I do like bumping up her speed as well. because she already has good bulk as it is, so you can just really focus on those offensive stat spreads. You can make a near unkillable tank just through the nature of massive amounts of healing. Absorb is the only weapon in this game that gives you this obscene amounts of healing when the carry versus the enemy is at a discrepancy. And being able to basically throw her into a save ball and give her a bunch of stats actually lends well to this idea of just hyper tanking, cannot die because it has high bulk and high offensive stats to just ensure that she's just absorbing everything. That's one of the funny things I wanted to showcase here. It might not actually be that good in practice because you're likely still going to be missing kills without some sort of damage special such as Ruptured Sky or Bonfire, and they don't have access to that stuff. Now, with healing specials, you also have a lot of healing assists. You have quite a few options there as well. Physic, I think, is really nice, but so you can charge like Miracle. Restore can work too, again, to charge Miracle. Nudge or Rescue or Return also all work as they act like positionals. However, they don't charge the special Miracle. Another really cool thing is a couple of those carry staffs that do exist in the game, this being one of them, Staff of Tribute, giving you like post-combat healing plus defense and res, but also Observant Staff, if you happen to get that through Sol, is a staff that I think most people forgot about, where it pretty much gives the healer like 6 to all stats as long as they're within range of 2 ally supported units. In something like AR that's really easy to use, it's not showcased here, but that is example of carries, healer carry builds actually existing. There's other stuff you can do too, such as Witchy Wand and Flash, that also kind of work in AR offense if you wanted to, but this is kind of the coolness and the flexibility of a healer and being able to run all these different type of builds as opposed to like always picking a preference staff. So I really wanted to showcase this. But where I do think that some underappreciation may lie is actually her potential in AR defense. And I don't want to mention Arena in this video because it's not a good Arena investment. Healers score absolutely poorly there. I think she might have some utility in summoner duels, but I'm a bit skeptical there. If anything, maybe she has some synergy with Dual Chrom to accelerate Miracle and use Restore to charge Miracle and become this really annoying far save tank. Maybe that's where you would use her in summoner duels, but I'm gonna hold my opinion on that because I'm not confident that would actually work. Anyways, so 3 different variants of ARD utility that I wanted to showcase here, and there's even more to it, which is, in my opinion, you want to really stack bulk through like the first build. You want to just stack bulk again through using AoE or using just some really good utility staffs such as Flash, Witchy Wand, or Grandscratcher, which we just got through codes, through ephemera codes. And all these different ways of not only combining healer utility, but like acting as a far save tank unit is really awesome. One thing that I think isn't mentioned here, or you might not understand between a healer such as this and a standard far save tank, is the ability to put your enemy on a clock on defense, which is Restore. Now, because she's an armor and probably not mobile, she's pretty much only going to restore units beside her, and if those units are inflicted by debuffs, she's pretty much going to restore. And by using Restore, she's charging her Miracle. By doing this, you're pretty much putting your enemy on a clock where they might not be able to kill Lissa at all. And I think that's pretty good. Another good like potential option here could be Martyr Staff, where if somebody bolt towers and then doesn't choose to engage for whatever reason, Lissa can not only heal the unit beside her, like if there's more than one, but also self-heal through Martyr, which is also really good and something a lot of other far save units can't use. One big weakness, of course, is that because you're using save in the C skill, there is no way that you can use auto recovery or even recovery. So that kind of sucks, but it's fine because all the other different utility and advantages associated with a far save healer like this now potentially exist. I know Winter Erica existed before this, but I think that she's so rare and so niche that most people just didn't have that as an option. This is where I think a lot of this coolness now potentially exists because of Lissa being F2P available. I'm actually very interested in using one of these myself for defense as an option, and I may share it in the future as well, either through the Twitch streams or here on YouTube, depending on how I feel about that. Either way, stacking Palm Staff, Distant Defense 4, Fort Defense Res, and whatever, Florid Defensing Res, stacking HP to get around Bolt Tower shenanigans, upgrading to Ideal 4, using restore so your tank doesn't actually attack the enemy, are all cool and different strategies that healers can do, and having that as a tank but also a support unit on defense is something I think can really make Lissa shine on defense. So yeah, this is basically my short and sweet video, I think, on Lissa, and there's going to be some stuff you can do here on both offense and defense of Aether Raids, where Lissa is going to be a great addition to the roster. I'm personally pretty excited to try this out in some form, depending on fodder that I can manage to get my hands on. Keep in mind that healers cannot get access, at least armor healers cannot get access to Hardy Fighter, so that's unfortunate. You can't be building some sort of crazy miracle beyond that, but there's still other ways to accelerate, and that's what we're showing here. There's a lot of other staffs I haven't even covered in this video, or even different builds involving special fighter, with who knows. There's a lot of difference you can do here, and if you had some ideas, feel free to share it in the comments below. Anyways, if you are a healer enthusiast as much as I am, then smash that like button, and hopefully we get refines on the other healers in the game besides these new additions. That's it for me, folks. Thank you for watching as always. So if you haven't already, check out the Patreon below, maybe Twitch streams, and the join button if you want to support this content. Love you all, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.
It's over.